You might think this picture is made from paint, but it's actually colored glue, which blends together to form this design. This is really cool because each of these rings, Candie, are actually separate colors of glue. And then while it's still wet, we're gonna use a specific kind of dragging technique to make it all kind of swirl together. Super
What a great
cool.
idea for blending too.
I love it. So the first thing we're going to do is prep our frame, but actually we should probably take a look at what else we need. Do you want to show everybody?
Sure, so we're going to use some glitter glue, and you can choose any colors. You want to use some of these because they're so metallic-y and pretty. You need a frame that has glass inside because the pattern is going to be made on the glass. You need to print out a pattern off of our website, and then you can lay it under the glass. You could also use acrylic or plexiglass for this project, and you need some skewers.
Right. So the first thing we're going to do, now I'm ready to prep our frame. So thank you.
Welcome.
So we need to clean the glass because a lot of times when you buy picture frames, this can be a little smudgy. So this is a good, if it is glass, you want to have an adult help you with this part of the project. So we're just going to wipe off both sides, and what we're going for is just a clean surface so that, one, it's not smudgy, and two, so our glue adheres to it nice and easy. All right.
Great.
Next.
So then what you're going to do is attach your glue. If you're using a pattern underneath, like I'm going to, then you'll want to attach your glass or your acrylic to the top of the pattern. And the way that you do that is just roll a piece of tape into a circle and place it on the center of the pattern. I'm trying not to get my fingers too much on the edge of the top surface of my glass here, because that would also prevent the glue from attaching. So there, I can still see my pattern through it, but it's not going to move around while I'm working.
Right.
And then you can choose your colors, right? And get started on your circles.
Right.
So I'll start out with some gold. And when you're using glitter glue, always remember, especially if you're following a pattern like this or you want to be really specific, just squeeze a little bit of the color onto a paper towel before you start. So then I'll just squeeze a circle onto the glass. And for the center part, this is the part that's going to drag out onto all of the areas of the design. So you want to put a lot of glitter glue there.
And while you're working on yours, I can't help myself but start working on my own. And for mine, I'm going to work on a zigzag pattern. Zigzags are so trendy right now.
And it's okay if you are using a pattern, it's okay if you get a little bit outside of the line because it's all going to be blending together and smoothing out. So it doesn't have to be exactly perfect.
Right.
But I am squeezing a thick line. Ooh, that looks good, Candie.
Thank you.
I love those zigzag patterns.
You want to make sure that you're working on a protective surface. Candie has her pattern to protect her table, but I'm using this work mat that's covered in wax paper.
It's always a good idea to protect your surface when you're painting, working with glue, and cutting things.
Right.
So I'm getting a pretty thick line.
Looking good.
How long do you think it would take you to do this whole pattern?
If you're really careful, I would say maybe half hour.
And then what about, do you think it sets up any before you start to drag it? Or you want to be sure to drag it while it's still really wet?
You want to drag it while it's wet, but this stuff stays pretty workable for a good hour, I would say.
So you have plenty of time, you don't need to rush.
And I've learned that the hard way because I've tried to touch something after I thought it surely was set up, but
should have waited a little longer.
Should have. So
that looks good. Purple and blue always look good together.
I'm working in a color palette of cool colors. So that would be purple. Do you know the cool colors, Candie? Green and blue.
So when we're ready to drag,
that looks really good.
Then we'll use our bamboo skewer.
It's my favorite part. This is looking good. So are you ready to drag?
Let's see you put another color on there, sister.
Okay. And it's okay if there's a little space because when the glue hits the surface, it does kind of spread out a little bit. Are you finding that too?
Yes.
I'm going to be the perfect cake decorator with icing after this.
There you go. It's good practice.
Okay.
I like that idea of bringing it around. I like the idea too of bringing this around and around and around in the circle pattern.
And for mine, I think I'm only going to do this short section. I'm still gonna drag my patterns, but I'm thinking that it would look really cool if it were just a short drug section at this end, and then I can put a photo on the other side.
Ooh,
so
that's
it
a good
peeks
idea.
through the, I just came up with that on the fly.
I like it. Very creative.
Thank you.
You know, you could also do patterns with your color. So you could make a rainbow pattern. The way you're doing cool colors, I could have done this one all warm colors.
Yep.
And that would be a good example too of how you can do color blending. So I'm going to do one more ring here, and then I think I'm ready to start dragging. Let's see.
I wanna do one more too. Do I have time?
I think you do.
Okay.
I'm going to add some yellow.
I'm gonna frame up mine with a little bit more blue.
I like your idea of adding that photograph.
Thank you. You could also put decorative paper under a little section of it. Oops, I got a little crazy and dripped some into my, hopefully
Okay.
I'll be able to hide it.
Let's see.
I'm almost there,
Okay.
I gotta fill in my corner.
So on mine, I think, you know, you would continue working your way out to the edge, but I want to make sure that we have time to show you how to drag this out.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay. So let's use the wide end of a bamboo skewer,
Okay.
and then you're just going to pull this out from the center. See what happens when we pull our stick through. All right.
There it goes.
All right.
And maybe you've seen this done with brownies before too, with caramel and chocolate.
Yeah.
This is
Give
the
it
same
that
idea.
radiant pattern. Let's see yours, Candie.
I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna start with this perfect section of our zigzag or chevron, but I'm only going to go blue to blue. Oh, yeah. And
That
I'm
looks
gonna
great,
fill it all in.
Candie.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at the finished one, because what you're going to do is place this one into your frame with the glue on the front of the glass.
Yes, and you can hang this in a window or just put it on an easel like we have here.